I'm Sarah Smith. I'm a horticulturalist here at Rogers Gardens, and in this video I want to talk to you all about the bare root strawberries. Let me tell you, being a strawberry fanatic like I am, you get more bang for your buck this way. And now I have tons of strawberries at my house because it is so easy, it is so fast, it's so inexpensive, and anybody can do it. This is the way the farmers here in Southern California and in Northern California plant their strawberries. They plant them as bare root. So if you know what bare root is, think about like bare root roses or bare root fruit trees. I'll show you all how to do it, because when you first get it, you're gonna look at the bag and think, I have no idea what to do. I'm gonna explain how to do it so you can be successful and have tons of strawberries. When you come into Rogers Gardens, you're going to look for the little refrigerator. We have it in the middle of our nursery, and inside that refrigerator are these little bags of bare root strawberries. So many people go in that refrigerator thinking they're going to grab a bag of edible strawberries, and that's not what these are. These are the bare root strawberries. So the bag looks like this. Inside the bag, for $6.99, you get 15 bare root strawberries. Let me tell you, that's a really good deal, because an individual plant like this is $6.99. For this, you get 15 plants, and it will make berries this year. So great deal. You're going to pop open the bag, and what you get inside looks a little crazy. They look like this. They are little tiny scary looking roots and dirt right here. So the key thing that you want to learn first is what's the top and what's the bottom. So if you really look at it, in the middle there's this nice kind of fatty bulby part. That's where the plant starts. This is the roots. You need to soak these before you plant them. So just like planting a bare root rose or a fruit tree, like something you would order online, you want to give these a good soaking to kind of get them a little activated first. I think really only an hour is totally sufficient. I like to just stick them in a little mason jar. So I poke a bunch of them down into like a little mason jar or a little cup of water and have that bottom part. And you can soak the whole thing too, have them sticking up, and I just stick it on my kitchen counter and I wait a little while and then I go out and plant them. When you're planting strawberries, you want to have an area that has at least 6 hours of sun. Strawberries don't need hot, intense sun. All the varieties of the bare root strawberries we sell here, Seascapes, Chandlers, and Sequoias, were all developed here in Southern California. So you know they're really good for us, and they're great for us here on the coast. And I'll explain a little bit of what the difference is between the three. But when you're planting, you want really good, well-draining soil. So really splurge on your soil, because that's going to give you good strawberries. And I like to say, ideally, you're only doing this once in a lifetime, maybe a couple of times if you're going to add more. So splurge on your soil. I like the Malibu potting soil for strawberry pots. This is what a strawberry pot is, and I'll explain that too. So Malibu potting soil, or if you're going to go in the ground, Malibu compost, and you're going to mix that into the ground. They really ideally like very rich fertilized soil. So I'll also go over the fertilizers with you as well. This is a strawberry pot. So strawberry pots are made to grow strawberries specifically. They have these little pockets on the side, and that makes it really easy to harvest your strawberries. The other main problem that people have with growing strawberries is the strawberries lay on the ground and then they get buggy. And that's really a bummer when you go and you see a nice, perfect strawberry and you wait a couple of days and you go to pick it, and when you pick it off the vine, you flip it over and there's a hole in the bottom. That's because a bug got to it. Usually slugs or snails or even pill bugs really like to go for strawberries. Having them in a pot like this will keep it so the strawberries hanging over the edge, and it doesn't have that problem. Also won't rot. Sometimes they'll rot making contact to the ground. So I love doing mine in pots. I do tons of strawberry pots around my house. I also do them in just my potted containers of my things like my bay leaves, my fig trees, things like that. So they can hang over the edge. That makes it much easier. If you're planting in the ground, you want to make sure you put down some kind of nice compost, so then that way they're not touching the wet soil. So like a good shredded cedar. I particularly like cedar because it has a natural kind of bug repelling property. Think like cedar hangers and cedar closets, right? So I like to use the cedar shredded compost, and we sell that here too. Once you have these in your little container and you've got them soaking, sometimes you can even add a little bit of the seaweed extract to the water. That kind of helps activate them a little bit. You get your pot ready, so you put your really nice good compost in there. You're going to plant it in the little side pots first. So you're going to put your soil up to the pocket, and you're going to spread out your little roots that are nice and soaked and all nice and ready, right? And you're going to put it in your soil, and you're going to plant it up to the crown. So that's this little part right here. We have a handout. It's really, really handy, because when you're planting bare root strawberries, the only real trick to these is do not plant them too deep. Do not plant them too high. You need to plant them right to the crown. If you plant them too deep, they will not flower. So it's kind of like the Goldilocks zone, right? Not too soft, not too hard. So you want to make sure that it's planted just to the crown. If you plant it too high and some of the roots are exposed, they're going to dry out and they're not going to really thrive. So that will be a problem as well. Better to plant a little higher than too deep, because too deep, you'll get nice big leaves, no flowers, and you're just like, what's going on? So that is really, really key. And we have a little handout that has exactly the planting side view of how too deep or too high is going to be on that. So if you get that perfect, then you're good. When I'm planting, I also love to use the BioLive, especially for all transplants, smaller plants too. This really helps. This helps the roots to thrive, adds really good mycorrhizae to the soil, which attaches to the roots, that gives it more root space, that helps it suck in the nutrients and suck in more water. So I love to use this on my fresh transplants. I only use this once on my transplants. Then I start switching to the rose and flower mix. This is a great fertilizer to use once a month. You can also use all-purpose as well. The numbers on there are pretty similar. When I really want to give them a nice extra heavy boost, I'll do a foliar fertilizing with the seaweed extract again. This does not replace your fertilizer. This is an addition to your fertilizer. So think of this like a vitamin. Think of this like your meal. You have to eat. You can't just live on vitamins. So this one is really great for that, to just give them kind of extra happy boost, right? So once you got them planted into your pots, sometimes because it's not very pretty looking, you just have these little nubbins sticking out of the ground, and you're looking at it going, that's not great. It takes a while for the flowers and the foliage to come, because eventually it's going to look like this, be nice, big, beautiful, full. I do like to add a little bit of annual color around it, but something really small and gentle that's not going to overbear and overtake my strawberry pot. My go-to classic for planting with my strawberries is white sweet alyssum. It's such a traditional kind of thing to plant with strawberries. It's really pretty because you have the beautiful white flowers. It smells a little bit like baby powder. It's very complementary to the white flowers on the strawberries. Once you get your beautiful red strawberries, now you got that pretty white and red strawberry combo. It just reminds me so much of my grandmother. She used to do this all the time, so it's the reason I kind of like doing it too. And I planted all my veggie gardens and stuff too, and it reseeds beautifully, and it just smells really good. Also, another really great one to do, especially if you want a little bit more color, is all the beautiful little violas. So pretty, all different kinds of colors. So if you have a color theme, even all these together, I mean, just look how pretty that would be, right? So I like my kind of utilitarian things, like my strawberry pots and my veggie gardens, to look pretty as well. In this pot together, how gorgeous, right? So if you have them planted right, you will be super successful. Remember, soak them. And don't plant them too deep, and don't plant them too high. Use really good fertilizers. Use good quality potting soils or compost mixed into the ground, because that's going to make it successful. Plants are just like people. We need good food, we need good rest, we need good water. So if you're doing that to your plants, they'll be really happy. The 3 varieties, Chandler, Seascapes, and Sequoias, are the ones that we sell in the bare root. All of those were made here for Southern California. They all produce for nice long season. Chandler and Sequoia are the really big chunky strawberries. So if you like those big guys, they are going to be shorter bearing than the Seascapes. The Seascapes are a smaller strawberry, but they produce longer. So I like to have a mixture of all of them. And I like to make sure that I have lots of variety going on and a lot of strawberries in different areas, because let's face it, most of my strawberries don't even make it in the house. I just eat them as I'm working in the garden, and my family is like, we have strawberries? I'm like, yeah, no, because I eat them all before they even come inside. And there's nothing better than a fresh grown home strawberry. It tastes 1,000 times different than anything you'll get in the grocery store, because you're picking it ripe, it's ripe in the sun, and they're nice and soft and beautiful. One last thing I want to talk about: those pesky slugs, snails, and pill bugs. Those get to my strawberries all the time. It drives me crazy. This works wonders. It's organic, so I don't feel nervous about using this around my edibles. It's pet safe as well. And the Sluggo Plus is the only one that works on the pill bugs. So I make sure I use this one because I have a lot of problem with the pill bugs. They like the organic rich soil, which I have at home. So the pill bugs are super happy. So I put this down so they don't get to my strawberries before I do. And you just sprinkle this down on the ground as soon as you start seeing the activity, or you can do it preventatively so you don't have the activity, especially if you know you have those bugs usually in the spring and summertime, because they really like to go crazy then. And you just sprinkle that on the ground so that way you get the strawberries before they do. So that's all the information on bare root strawberries. I hope you're super successful. When you come in, make sure you grab one of those little pamphlets, because it's going to break it down, especially give you that little diagram there on how to plant them. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media pages, and thank you so much for tuning in. I love doing these videos for you, and be successful with your strawberries. Thanks. Bye.